Hello students, UPSC will release notification every year for 800 to 1100 jobs. To clear this examination, we are going to launch new batch for Prelims cum Mains Foundation 2026, and this batch is going to be started from April 8th. And the special features of this course are we are going to cover your syllabus completely, that is comprehensive coverage of syllabus will be there, and classes will be taken by expert faculty, and we provide material for your GS and as well as current affairs. And on the day one itself, we are going to start answer writing practice, and on the weekends there will be revision test, and I will be available in the institute from morning to evening so that you can get personal mentorship from me. And also one important thing is we are going to provide this course on online and offline. And why are you late? So if you have any queries regarding this course, you can contact us on this number 8074765513, and admissions are going on. Thank you. Hello and welcome to Rathod Science Academy. Today in this session we are going to see very important current affairs that appear in our today's Hindu newspaper. So let's get started with our discussion. So if you see this title of this first article, it says LS, that means nothing but Lok Sabha passes Waqf bill after a long debate. So actually it is not a new topic. So in the last year, in month of around November, December, so we had this Waqf bill in news. At that time we discussed. And now once again, once the passing of this bill in Lok Sabha, now it becomes much more important, and now you have to know each and every provision of that bill for sure. So here this article is very important. So what is the keyword? Keyword is Waqf bill. Waqf bill. And next one here is Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha and Waqf bill. So where you will be studying about this Lok Sabha, guys? So from GS paper 2 under polity, you will be studying about this topic. So where exactly, in which chapter you will be studying about this Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha? That is your parliament, right? So in parliament chapter, you will be studying about this Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. So what you have to know about this Lok Sabha? Especially you have to see certain dimensions like members of this Lok Sabha. How many members? 545. And you have to know about 104 Constitutional Amendment Bill. So what is this 104 Constitutional Amendment Bill? Earlier we have certain members who are nominated from Anglo-Indian community, but now that had been abolished by this 104 Constitutional Amendment Act. You have to know that. And you have to know about eligibility criteria to become member of Lok Sabha. And next you have to know about election process. And next you have to know about what are the powers of Lok Sabha. And especially you have to do comparative studies between Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So in which areas Lok Sabha is having equal power with Rajya Sabha, and in which areas Lok Sabha is having more power. You have to see this certain things where UPSC have a tendency to ask question from that area. And next you have to know about this Waqf bill. So first you have to know what is this Waqf. First you have to know what is this Waqf. And next one here is why we came up with this amendment. And next you have to see what are the provisions of this Waqf bill. And now what are the challenges or what are the issues. And next you have to see what is the significance. So why we are coming up with this change now in this Waqf bill. So all these are very important components that you have to know. And this topic is important from your GS paper 2 under polity and governance. And not only that, this Waqf board or this Waqf bill is related to which religion? That is Islam, right? So that is nothing but here we are going to talk about even religion. So this religion where you will be studying? In GS paper 2 under polity. Where exactly? So we have fundamental rights. Okay, in that topic we'll be studying about this religion. And apart from that, from GS paper 1 and 2, from society and social issues also it is important. And not only this, even if you are from anthropology background, so in anthropology, especially in your paper 2, we have this topic called as minorities, linguistic minorities, religious minorities, and impact of other religions on society. So from that area also, this is important, guys. So you have to cover each and every dimension what I'm saying in this class, so that if you're getting any question, you can answer. Okay. So follow my words blindly. You can trust me 100%. Okay. So now let us see what this article is about. So this article is saying that Lok Sabha passed Waqf Amendment Bill 2025. And the name of this bill is Umeed Bill. You have to remember this. So because UPSC have a tendency to use alternate names of the bill. So they may not give directly Waqf Amendment Bill 2025. They may ask what are the key provisions, challenges, and significance of Umeed Bill. So you should not confuse, okay? So for that, you need to know even alternate names, okay? So it is Umeed Bill. And actually, this bill which introduces some changes for what? So we need to increase transparency and as well as accountability and efficiency in this Waqf property management. So to improve accountability, transparency, and as well as efficiency in maintaining of this Waqf property, yes, we are going to come up with these changes. Okay, so one important change that you have to remember is in this Waqf boards now, not only Muslims, non-Muslim representation will be there. Okay, and even they are coming up with some financial reforms in this Waqf. Okay, so this is about the introduction regarding what is this Waqf Amendment Bill 2025. So what is this Waqf property? Waqf property is nothing but the property which is donated by Muslims for a specific religious, charitable or private purpose. So actually this property is belonging to God. So this property is believed to be belonging to the God, while its benefits are directed to specific purposes. Whatever the benefits they are getting under this property or the assets under this Waqf board, so whatever the thing that they are getting, so they will be doing some charity work, okay, charity work under for this Islam or Muslims. So actually this Waqf can be established through a written deed or like a legal instrument, or orally also they can form this Waqf boards. So actually if you're talking about this use and permanence of this property under this Waqf board, so whatever the property which is recognized as Waqf, it has been used for religious or charitable purpose over some period. And actually one important thing under this Waqf is whatever the property which is designated as Waqf means it cannot be reclaimed or it cannot be altered by the donor. So it will be like permanently given to this Waqf. And actually we have number of Islamic countries. Do all Islamic countries are having this Waqf? So this is a big question now. So actually not all Islamic countries which are present across the world like Turkey, Libya, Egypt, Sudan, Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, Tunisia, Iraq, they don't have this Waqf, but these Waqfs are present in India. Okay. So actually if you see about this Waqf boards in India, so how much property they are having? Around 8.7 lakh properties, and they are covering around 9.4 lakh acres of land in India which is under this Waqf. And it is estimated that what is the worth of this? That is 1.2 lakh crore rupees. So actually Waqf board is having the largest landowner in India after Indian Railways and as well as armed forces. So that is the thing that you have to remember, guys. And if you see what are the key changes that we are going to make in this Waqf amendment. So what are these provisions of this Waqf Amendment Bill 2025? It is very, very important. So first one here is this Waqf Amendment or Waqf Bill had been renamed as this Umeed. Umeed means nothing but unified management, empowerment, efficiency and development. Okay, now this Waqf board had been renamed as this Umeed. And this one here is we are including non-Muslim members also. So to increase or to enhance inclusivity, now Waqf Amendment Bill 2025 introduced some provisions for inclusion of even non-Muslim representatives in central and as well as state level Waqf boards. And next one here is one important change is work by user had been removed here. That comes under mainly section 40. Okay, so actually work amendment bill eliminates work by user provision. So actually what is this provision? So this provision is nothing but it will be allowing the properties of this Islam to be designated as work solely. That will be used for religious activities. And now here section 40 also had been removed. And next one here is they excluded trust from work. So this bill which established a legal separation, that means we need to have the separation between the trust and as well as works. Okay, so that whatever the trust which are created by the Muslims, then they will be running separately under one more act. They will not come under this work bill now. Okay, and next one here is eligibility for work dedication. So actually only practicing Muslims for at least 5 years. Now they are allowed to donate property to work, not all. So even now work should not take property from other religious people. Only Muslims have to donate the land. And next one here is protection of inheritance rights. So this bill which is ensuring that women and as well as children, they have to receive their rightful inheritance before the property is declared as a work. So if someone guy came and donated his property to work means, so before making integrated into work itself, that board will be taking care of property rights, that is inheritance rights for the women and as well as children of that so and so person. And even there are some special safeguards which are given for widows, divorced women and as well as orphans also. And this one here is protection of tribal lands. So actually protection of tribal lands is said in which schedules? Schedule 7 and as well as Schedule 6, right? So this bill which explicitly prohibits the establishment of work on lands falling under this 5th schedule and 6th schedule. So what are the lands which comes under 5th schedule and 6th schedule? They will be not integrated into this work. It is clearly said in this bill. And this one is composition of tribunal. Tribunal is nothing but, so there will be the dispute resolution mechanism, right? So actually this initial draft proposed the reducing of work tribunal to 2 members. But now the new bill which mainly said that, no, we have to maintain 3-member composition. It is very, very important. And even this 3-member composition of this tribunal which had been advised by even joint parliamentary committees also. And this one here is they will be also having proper investigation on the government properties. So if there is any claiming of land, that is government land under this work means, there will be the proper investigation on this. Okay, and who is responsible for this? That is district collector. That means you, the future you also involved in this investigation process. And this one is for dispute resolution mechanisms. A senior government officer or official will be acting as a final authority to decide whether that property will goes to the work or not. Okay, and even there is appeal mechanism. That means whatever the tribunal, whatever the judgment it is given by tribunal, if you are not satisfied, then you can also appeal that judgment to the High Court of that state. And they also came up with the finance reforms. Finance reforms is nothing but actually whatever the profits that you are getting from that so and so property to this work, you have to spend certain amount under charity also. So now 7 to 5% decrease had happened. That means 5% of the contributions of this work directly they have to spend to charitable activities. And whatever the income they are getting on this property is now work board should go for proper audit mechanisms. Okay, earlier there is no audit. But now if they are getting income over 1 lakh rupees, they have to go for proper audit every year. So how much amount they are getting and how much amount they spent, where spent, okay, like that. So these are some important provisions. And what is significance now? So significance here is now we are increasing oversight and as well as regulations on this work, so that we are trying to prevent abuse and as well as mismanagement of work properties. And next one here is we are also trying to use technology to improve record keeping also, so that what happens, we can increase transparency. And even now audit is compulsory, so that we can decrease the misuse of funds and diversion of funds. And next one here is we are focusing on the proper protection of properties. So here collector is also involved and even other community peoples are also part of that, right? And next one here is we are including non-Muslims also into these work boards, so that we can promote diversity and as well as community representation. Okay, so all these are the important significance of this WACC Amendment Bill 2025, and mostly you can expect a question on this for sure, guys, in your mains or prelims. And I find a very interesting image in this front page of International Edition of Hindu. So this image is about one important tree that is called as Jacaranda bloom. Okay, so this violet color, purple colored flower tree is called as Jacaranda. So here, whenever you're getting this kind of plants or trees or any new species or any animal species in use, then there is obviously the question can come from that area. So here this article is important from which subject? That is your GS paper 3. So from GS paper 3 environment and ecology, if you are getting any animal species in use or any plant species, okay, or any insects also, or any insects or any microorganisms, it is very important. So you have to make a clear-cut notes of that. So in that notes, what you have to include? You have to include name, and you have to include the region where they are located or where they are identified. And next one here is you have to see protection status. So in this protection status, you have to see three things. First one is according to Wildlife Protection Act. First one is according to Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. And next one is according to IUCN Red List and according to CITES. Okay, and next you have to see about what are the threats, or you have to see what is the significance. Okay, so all these areas that you have to cover, and you have to make a clear-cut notes, guys. So now let us see this plant species. So actually it is also known by a synonym called as Jacaranda acutifolia. So the name of this plant is Jacaranda acutifolia, and it is a deciduous tree. So deciduous means nothing but there will be the falling of leaves. Normally in which season? In spring season or in summer season. So leaves will turn into yellow color, and that yellow color leaves will be fallen off. So it is a one important feature of deciduous plants. It is a deciduous tree. And actually where we can see this plant is seen in Brazil and as well as northwest Argentina region. And they provide hardwood, okay. They are hardy trees and they grow in even climate, that is tropical climate also. And especially where we can use this tree. So this tree is widely used for making of guitars. It is very important. So for making of guitars, we will be using this wood. Okay. And actually what is ecological significance? So because of this bloom of this purple color flowers, so they will attract more hummingbirds, more bees than many native trees. Okay, so a change in the flowering could lead to decreasing of this population. So if there is any alteration in the changing of flowers of these plants, then what happened? There will be changing of pollination and as well as changing of attraction of birds and as well as bees. Okay, now let us see the next article. Title says manufacturing activity at an 8 months high in March. So the same thing that we studied in the last month also, where we studied that there is decreasing of manufacturing in month of February, and now in the month of March, yes, we got good amount of manufacturing activities which are going in our country. Okay, so what is the keyword? Manufacturing activities. So topic here is so from which subject we can say this? From GS paper 3 under economy, right? So what are the things that you have to see? So what are the dimensions? The first one is you have to see different sectors in our economy. So in these different sectors, what we have? Primary sector, secondary sector, tertiary sector, quaternary sector, and quinary sector. So you have to see all these sectors and you have to make a note of examples. So in primary sector, many of you know that it includes agriculture. Apart from agriculture, even mining comes under this primary activities. So secondary means nothing but production of goods. For example, industries, factories, okay, like that. And in tertiary, we include services. So which kind of services comes under this? And quaternary examples and quinary examples that you have to know. And next dimension you have to see is examples of manufacturing in India. So which kind of industries are very popular in India that you have to know. For example, we have iron and steel industries, steel and aluminium industries, and as well as cotton industries, wool industries, etc. Okay, you have to make a list of best performing manufacturing in India. And next you have to see about what are the problems of our manufacturing sector. So if you know problems, then only you can know whether the activities are going accordingly or not, right? So if you don't know about the problems, can you understand why in last month there was decreasing of manufacturing activity and now why there is a increasing of manufacturing activity? So whenever we know the problems, so for that problems, if you find the solutions, then what happens? We can correct what is the problem there or not. So in February, there was low activity in manufacturing sector. So after identifying the problems, yes, government did some activities. Government pushed this manufacturing sector, and now in the month of March, they worked well. So you have to know about what are the problems in our manufacturing sector. So after knowing that problem, you have to know about what are the government measures. So what are the measures taken by the government? And next you have to see your own suggestions. What is the way forward? What can be done something extra which is done by already government? And here in this manufacturing sectors, you have to see about different types of companies. For example, we have large companies, we have medium companies, we have small companies, we have micro companies. And you will be also coming with this thing in your news, that is Maharatna status, Mini Ratna status. So what are this Maharatna, Navratnas and Mini Ratna? So which companies will be getting this status? And you have to see which companies in India have that Maharatna status or Mini Ratna and Navratna status. And even you have to know about this MSMEs, because in 2023 in mains there was a question regarding what are the problems faced by these MSMEs and what are the policies and the schemes provided by the government. So that will be there here, right? So I said you have to know about the problems and you have to know about the government measures and you have to give your suggestions. So if you do all these things for these types of industries, then your entire topic of this manufacturing from your economy will be done. Okay, so all these things that you have to cover, guys. So here I am saying that there is good performance of manufacturing sector. That means there are certain indices which will say about how these are performing or not, right? So here that indices is PMI, that is Purchasing Manager Index. So here this Purchasing Manager Index will be giving the rating or giving the number or giving the rank for both manufacturing sector and service sector, for tertiary and as well as for secondary. So this PMI will be giving index, and actually it will be giving index on every month basis. So every month we will be getting index, and this index is separate for manufacturing and it is separate for services. Today in your newspaper there was this article about this manufacturing sector, right? After 2 days, exactly after 2 days, you will be getting news regarding service sector PMI index, same thing. Okay, so like that, if you're following newspaper daily, you can expect when which thing going to be coming in the newspaper and which is important and which is not important. So now let us see this article clearly. So this article is saying that manufacturing activity as measured by seasonally adjusted Purchasing Managers Index. Actually, Purchasing Manager Index released for the month of March 2025, and in this index it said that in March the score of this manufacturing sector is 58.1. Okay, and 58.1 is a good score. Actually, the number is 0 to 100. So what is the middle standard number, guys? It is 50, right? So if the value of this PMI is less than 50 means we can understand they are not performing well. They are not performing well. If this value is more than 50 means they are performing well. So what is the value here? Value is 58.1. That is, it is more than 50, right? So because of this, we can say that the performance of this manufacturing sector is good in the month of March. So if you see some facts regarding this purchasing managers index, so it is an indicator of business activity. So it will be provided for both, as I said, secondary sector and tertiary sector, that is manufacturing and service sector. And actually this is a survey based measure. So this is a survey based measure. So they will ask respondents about the changes in their perception of some key business variables. And based on their response, they will be giving this ranking. And it is calculated separately for manufacturing and as well as services. So here this index will be very much helpful for understanding market conditions. So how there is a demand is happening. So whether there is an increased demand or decreased demand. So whether the people are purchasing the goods or not. Based on the demand only, the industries or manufacturing companies will be producing goods. How they are producing the goods. Whether there is expansion or contraction. Expansion is nothing but good activities. Contraction is nothing but less activities. So we will be getting all those things. And if you see about clearly regarding this manufacturing PMI, it is derived by sending fact-based questions to large number of companies. And these questions which are related to 5 important things. What are they? Whether they are getting new orders or not. And this one is what is their output and how the supplier's delivery time is happening. And this one is stock of items, whether they purchased or not. So how much they sold. So on these key variables, they will be asking questions to the companies. And the surveys are conducted on every month basis. That means every month you will be getting this thing in the news. So here PMI, that is Purchaser Manager Index number, which if it is greater than 50, it indicates expansion. They are running good. So if it is less than 50 means there is contraction. So there is less demand in the market. Okay, that is the thing that you have to remember. That's it. And now let us see the next article. New damselfly species found in Kerala. So in this image you can see this is the new species which is mainly found. So as I said, whenever there is any new species, even insect species or microorganisms, that you have to make a note. So this topic is important from your environment and ecology from GS paper 3. So if you go through the previous questions paper of prelims, every year there will be at least 1 or 2 prelims based questions regarding species in news, and you have to be very much careful about that. So here this article is saying that group of researchers, they discovered a new species of damselfly in Wayanad, in where especially it is in Western Ghats. In Western Ghats they find this. And what is the name given? The name is Euphia wayanadensis. Okay, Euphia wayanadensis. And where it is seen? Especially it is seen in aquatic vegetations along with trees on banks of the water. Okay, so that is the thing that you have to remember. That's it. And now let us see the next article. Title says ensure education, hygiene, healthcare in rural areas, says Supreme Court. So here this article is talking about clearly regarding education. So is education there in your syllabus? Yes. In GS paper 2 under governance, you have this topic called as education. So what is there in the news is, so here especially Supreme Court is seeing one case. So actually here the bench of Supreme Court is identifying about especially, so the petition was filed by Rural Development Foundation to direct states to set up at least one public library in every village in the country. So actually you know that how much amount of GDP that we are spending in education? That is 4.2. We are spending that much only. So actually what is the target? Target here is we have to increase it to at least 6. Okay, 2.4 or 4.2. So please check it once. 4.3. Okay. So here we have to increase that spending. So actually what happened here is one Rural Development Foundation directed states, every state that, so in every village we need to have a rural library. And this petition was forwarded to Supreme Court. And now Supreme Court gave the final judgment. So rather than establishing a library in schools, try to provide sanitation. That is a primary priority. Yes or no? So actually in many schools, especially in the rural areas, in that schools they don't have proper toilets. Yes, proper infrastructure in the schools. And even especially have identified in Telangana state, that is nothing but whenever there is rainy season starts, because of that rainy season, if there is heavy rains, so even they'll give holidays for students. Why? There is a threat of falling down of that roof. So if the roof falls, if the walls breaks, then what happens? Obviously it will lead to disaster. So small children, they lost their life, right? So first of all, we have to go for proper infrastructure in schools. Later on, we'll think about this library. So first we have to provide the safety for the children and privacy for the children. Later on that we can provide the library. So that is the thing which mainly said directly by the Supreme Court. And this topic is important from your GS paper under governance. What you have to see? You have to see about what are the challenges we are facing in rural schools. Okay, so here you have to make a note of what are the problems we are facing in rural schools. What are the problems we are having? No sanitation, and even there is no proper drinking water facility, no proper classrooms, no proper construction, there is no infrastructure, there is no teachers. So teacher to pupil ratio is very poor. And next one is teacher absenteeism will be also very high. And they don't have funds, lack of funds. So all these are the problems. So first we have to solve these problems. Later on we'll think about this rural library. That is the thing which mainly said. So now let us see this article clearly. So if you see context, it is saying that the Supreme Court of India understood the critical importance of enhancing hygiene, education and healthcare in rural areas. Why you are talking about hygiene? You know, in the rural areas, especially in government schools, we have this midday meals program. So whenever they are cooking food, obviously hygiene is very important, right? So because of this, Supreme Court is focusing especially on this hygiene, education and as well as healthcare in rural areas. And Supreme Court dismissed, that means struck down the petition that called for establishment of public libraries in every village. So first we have to give the priority for these things, hygiene, education and healthcare. And next we can give priority for this libraries. Okay, so this is a Supreme Court ruling. Supreme Court emphasized prioritizing hygiene, education and healthcare over establishment of public libraries. And next one here is Supreme Court also said that yes, lots of time, especially in the rural areas, children are dying with starvation. Starvation is nothing but hunger deaths are happening. So we have to focus on providing of proper food for the children through the schools, at least through this midday meals program. And nowadays what happened? Now we have half-day schools and now we are going to have the holidays, summer holidays. At that time, will the students go to school in the holidays? No. Will they get proper nutrition? Again, this is one question mark. So we have to provide proper food rather than providing of library. Library is secondary. First, we have to provide the primary needs to the people. And this one here is, this court also recommended that around 10 to 15% of the budget should be allocated for enhancing of rural infrastructure. It is very, very important. And next one here is, whoever the stakeholders involved here, so they are having varied dimensions on where we have to use the resources. So first we have to go for developmental needs. Developmental needs and education should be given priority rather than libraries. And they also said that we have to focus on basic health services. For example, access to the healthy drinking water and adequate educational facilities. They are mainly highlighted here. So here Supreme Court said that public libraries can promote cultural education and they can promote values, but it is secondary. So whatever the immediate needs are there, first we have to solve that immediate needs and later on we can go for the secondary needs. And they also said that we need to come up with the policy recommendations also, so that after coming up with essential infrastructure, if everything is done properly, and later on we can go for libraries. Okay, now let us see the next article. Title says India's critical efforts to tackle air pollution could worsen warming. So actually India is taking lots of steps to control air pollution, right? So what are the steps we are taking to control air pollution? So we are moving towards electric vehicles, the first important step. Next. Okay, let us take this example. We are moving towards electric vehicles. So from where we are producing electricity? We are producing electricity from coal. So coal is a fossil fuel, right? So what happens whenever you are burning coal and you are generating electricity? Carbon dioxide emissions will be increased. Furthermore, it will lead to global warming. So that is the thing. Okay. So what are the steps taken by our government controlling of air pollution? It is further leads to worsening of warming. So here you have to make a list of what are the steps taken by the government of India to control air pollution and how it is leading to the global warming. So that thing that you have to see. That's it. And next article, see here, digital child abuse, the danger of AI based exploitation. So in 2023, there was a question regarding what is AI and what are the challenges of AI. So one challenge that you can add is because of using of AI, it is also leads to abuse of child. Okay, so what is the keyword? The keyword here is artificial intelligence. So we are using computers. Okay, we are using computers, and apart from human intelligence, we are learning more from computer intelligence. So that is called as artificial intelligence, right? So here, in which subject we will be seeing this? From GS paper 3 under science and technology. So what you have to see from this AI is, what is AI first of all? Because in 2023, mainly the question asked was, what is AI? Explain it. So what is this AI? And you have to see examples of AI that we are using. For example, even we are using ChatGPT, and here we are using DeepSeek, and also, like machine learning we are using robotics, everything, right? So you have to see the examples of this AI, and next you have to see what are the advantages. So we have lot of advantages, right? So we can decrease the manual work, right? So we can save time. So like that, what are the advantages we have? And next you have to see what are the disadvantages. So this disadvantages is very important for UPSC, guys. So there will be the loss of employment. There is increasing of poverty, increasing of hunger may happens. And apart from that, what happens? So if you are using this AI, they can consume more amount of energy compared to that of other normal computers, right? So that means energy safety and security is also one important problem now. And next, child abuse is happening. And even nowadays, which is very much viral in some social medias, like we are using ChatGPT and we are giving our images and we are converting into some Japan technology. What is that name? Ghibli images. So what is happening? Is that threat to data privacy or not? So here directly we are giving our data. And actually in this open AI, so is there any policy of data protection? Now what happens now? Companies, they will be collecting your data. And after companies, they collect the data, that will also end up in darknet. There is also the abuse in the future. So no, you're only directly giving your information voluntarily. So what happens? They can also sell your data in other platforms. So is there the data privacy issue? Again, because of AI, we are having this data privacy issue also. That is happening in the recent news. So that I want to make just some awareness about whenever you are giving your personal information, just be cautious. Okay? So just be cautious. And actually, you know that even in the mobiles also. So even you can keep your face recognition also, right? So just if you show your face, the lock will be getting open, right? So we have that face recognition technologies also. So actually many of such kind of companies which are focusing on this face recognition, which are from Japan and as well as US, they got been fined because they are selling the data. Okay. So because of this, what happens? So we are having lots of disadvantages regarding this AI. Okay. So you have to make a list. And I said that example because it is happening now, it became viral, especially if you go to any social media platforms, they are sharing that kind of images. Okay. So now, if you see this article, what this is clearly saying is, there is rise of artificial intelligence technology and that has exposed significant risk, especially there is spreading of child sexual abuse material. Okay, so who said this? So recently one report which had been released, make a note of this, UK's Department for Science, Innovation and Technology. So this report from UK's Department for Science, Innovation and Technology, which mainly highlights about the urgent need for legislative action to address the threats. So we need to come up with a law that has to focus on the threats, and we have to focus on, especially from traditional law enforcement, on the actions toward individual to modern tool-centric approach. So whatever the laws which are present in India, so will they give any punishment for AI or any tool? No, the individual who are using that, on them only we have punishment, right? So now this report is saying that because of using of AI, now we have to come up with a separate law which has to punish that tool also. Okay, so that is the thing which mainly said here. Rather than individuals are getting punished, so even the tool-centric approach we have to come up. Okay, so why? Because whenever the changing of or advancement of science and technology, we are using furthermore very high technology. So because of this using of high technology, new crimes will also come into picture, right? So if you see our coding of laws which had been happened before we got independence, that is nothing but IPC, CRPs, you are coded before we got independence. At that time we don't have proper science and technology advancement. At that time we don't have ever think about this cyber crimes. But now, because of advancement in science and technology, now how many cases are getting every day regarding the cyber crimes? Thousands of cases, right? Now we need advancement with the laws. So what are the laws we had already made? We have to change them. In the same way, now we are using this AI. So because of this AI, there is spreading of child sexual abuse material. So we have to come with the laws which have to give punishment to that tool-centric. Okay, we need to have this tool-centric approach also. That is the thing which mainly said here. Okay, so if you see some more details which are given in this article, it is saying that, so we have to recognize the tools as instruments of crime, not individuals now. Okay, so for that tools, we have to provide the punishment. Okay, we have to enact the laws. That means nothing but we have to come up with the making of new laws which should focus on tools. For example, AI technologies and authorities. And next one here is we have to come up with international collaboration recognition. So we have to see the best practices from other countries, like how European Union is dealing with, or how US is dealing, how Japan is dealing, how China is dealing. So like that, if you're having the international collaboration, then what happens? We can get proper information sharing, and as well as we can getting aware about such kind of laws in other countries, so that we can implement the same kind of laws in our country. And next one here is we have to go for technology adoption even in the laws also. And next one here is we have to expand our definitions, okay, which are required. For example, definition of child pornography and AI generated content, like that. And next one here is if you are having the more number of cases regarding cyber crime, especially regarding this child sexual abuse material, so we have to take an immediate action. So there should be not like delays. For example, if you file any case in the court, or if you are filing any case, how much time it will take? It will take years. So in these years, what happened? We don't know when we are going to get justice. Justice delayed is justice denied, right? So here, rather than that, we have to come up with the establishment of fast track courts, so that justice will be given very fast, and we should not have any delays. And this one here is we have to focus on even mental health considerations. For example, whenever any child who had been subjected to this sexual abuse, what happens? Their mental ability, their physical thing, so they will become very low, and mentally they will be getting lots of problems, right? So here, obviously, not only the parents, even government need to focus on giving some support mentally for that kind of children who had been subjected to this sexual abuse. And not only this, even we have to provide certain laws for prevention also, because always we'll think about the prevention. Prevention is better than cure. It is a very, very famous quote, right? So before child is getting subjected to this sexual abuse, we have to take some prevention steps. As you all know that mother, wherever she is there, so she will be always protecting her girl child like anything. So if mother is guarding the children, then what happens? Obviously, the child will be getting less abused, less sexually abused, right? So if the mother is not there, normally where the child is getting sexually abused, the places where mother is not virtually present, right? For example, in the school places, or whenever they are going on the way, or whenever they are going to the relative places. But in some places, it is happening in the home also, but it is very, very less. That means not only the mother, not only the parents who are responsible, even the society is also responsible, and also the government is responsible, and government need to come up with the laws. Here the society and the mother, they will not make the laws, right? So who will make the laws? That is the government. So government can come up with the making of laws which are focusing on the preventive measures also. And next one here is we have to focus on the prevention, especially we need to come up with effective legal frameworks so that we can disrupt the criminal behavior, okay, of the people. So that's the thing that we have to focus on, guys. And let us see the next article. Title says, how did the Myanmar earthquake occur? So as you all know that 3 days ago, a very massive earthquake which attacked this Myanmar and Thailand, right? So because of that, thousands of people, they died. And lots of the visuals of that earthquake becoming viral in the social media. And even yesterday itself, I saw one reel that how the 2 nurses, they are protecting the baby childs during that earthquake. It was like very, very emotional feeling that I got after seeing that. So you can understand that they were very, very brave and they were trying to save that children at that time. So they didn't thought about their life. They were focusing on how they have to save that children. Especially they are very neonates. I think they are like less than even 7 to 15 days after the birth. So if you see here, as you all know that, why the earthquake happens? So earthquake is nothing but the shaking of earth. Whenever the shaking of earth is happening, huge amount of energy which had been released in the form of seismic waves. And there we have how many types of seismic waves? 2 types, body waves and surface waves. In body waves, again, we have 2 types, P waves and Q waves. In surface waves, we have love waves and Rayleigh waves. So because of the surface waves only, the destruction which happens, it is not because of body waves. Okay. So actually, you know about this plate tectonics, right? So actually we have plates. Plates are nothing but crust and as well as upper mantle, which will be flowing freely on this magma. Okay, so because of this plate movements only, we can see the earthquake happens. So how many types of plate movements we have? 3 types. Convergent boundaries, divergent boundaries, and transverse boundaries. Convergent means nothing but the plates moving towards each other. And divergent means plates will be moving away from each other. Transforms means the plates will be sliding on each other. So now in the case of Myanmar, so this 3rd plate movement is the important reason, that is transform plate movements that led to this massive earthquake. Okay, that led to a disaster in this region. Okay, so that is the thing which mainly said here, nothing more than that. So these are some important topics that happened in our today's Hindi newspaper. So by this I'm concluding. I hope you enjoyed this class. Thank you so much guys for watching, and do subscribe to Rathod IAS Academy and try to join this Prelims Cum Mains Foundation course either online or offline as you wish. And if you have any queries, you can contact on this number 8074765513. And thank you so much guys.